What advice do you have on balancing vocational productivity and leisure activities? I want to be more productive and would like guidance on diagnosing whether my main issue is inefficiency or prioritization. I love this question. It's overthinking. That's your main issue is overthinking, probably. And a lot of us have that. There's so much input. How do you ever begin to deal with the output? So my first question to you immediately is, how often do you take a pen and a paper and write something down? And how often do you read it again later? And when you do you write it a second time? That right off the bat is the number one thing to know, period. In terms of balancing vocation, productivity, and leisure, you're asking the wrong guy. What I've been doing over the last several years is trying to funnel my leisure activities into my vocational activities so that they become the same thing as much as I possibly can. And it has it's cool. I mean, that's kind of what you love, right? And there's books about how maybe that's not what you should do. You should just go get good at something and you'll find out you love it. That's true too, I think. But when you do what you love and it's no longer just leisure, if you play video games for a living and have to comment on them at a certain point, as much as you love video games, you don't want to go home and play a video game, right? So the real question is, how do you disengage from the war and recoup? And don't forget how important humans are in this. Other humans, right? Even if you're an introvert, the other humans that you trust and that do not overwhelm you. Those people and spending time with them is so essential to actual leisure, right? Sleep also, real leisure. I'm talking 6 to 8 hours. I only get my 6.5 usually, but should be 8. 6 to 8 hours of solid, as much darkness in the room as you can get, no blue light, an hour and a half at least before sleep. Right? That is leisure. And what you will find is the more well you are in those things, sleep and nutrition's important too. Sleep, nutrition, and human relationships. Having some that you can trust quietly and turn off the white noise in the midst of, the more your vocational productivity will just be better, without you having to change anything that you do. No tactics, no tricks. You're just gonna be a better person, and you're gonna be more functional. So that's my first thing right there. And I'm gonna tell you that writing it down, reading it, and rewriting it is going to be a key part of making that happen. Stay tuned for more on that. But I also want to say something about balance. There's no such thing as balance. It's not true. Obviously there's balance. I do yoga, right? I stand on my head sometimes. There's balance. But when you're talking about achieving a balance, an equilibrium in life of perfection, there's no such thing even really in nature. There's no gallon of water. There's a gallon .00000 whatever, right? Or 4.999 whatever, right? So getting your head out of that way of thinking so black and whitely about your productivity, and instead trying to ask, what's a good thing to do right now? What's the right thing to do right now? What's the dutiful thing to do right now? That's way better than the hacks. And I mean, I've spent a lot of time in the hacks. I got the beginnings of a book on SmartNotes that I can't wait to write. I'm enjoying it so much, just thinking it through, and it's writing itself because the procedure's so good. And that's all out of that How to Take SmartNotes book. But at the same time, it fulfills a leisure role now, a little bit. Like I chose the other night not to play a video game and to go work on that because the work became more compelling. And it wasn't like, oh, I have to, oh, I'd better. It was, this is so interesting. And I mean, maybe not everyone's going to find that in that particular type of thing, right? But you're going to be productive when you're interested in it. And if you're having to say, I need to stop, then you're not interested in it for some reason. And it's addressing those questions. I'm going to tell you again that your sleep balance, if you want to balance your sleep, your nutrition, right? And your real relationships with real face humans with the white noise off, that'll have a lot more to do with your day-to-day productivity. I mean, turn the white noise off.